Oh yes. Thank you for joining this session, and I will say something about the two programs that I work mostly with, and they are both focusing on game development. And we use, I can say it to start with that this is the first year we offer two different 2-year programs. We've been running a single 2-year master's program in game development for 5 years. So the whole setup is not new. It's more or less that we split the 1 2 year we had into two. A lot of this that I will talk about are the same as before. First of all, games in Skövde. We started with games in Skövde 2002 when we launched our bachelor programs in game development. The slide Karin showed had said that we specialize in serious games. I would say we specialize in game development. The research has mainly been in serious games, but the undergraduate programs we have is the biggest in Sweden, and that's focused on game development of entertainment games. And then we have 4 master's programs, more or less focusing on games, and we have doctoral students in games. And when we started 2002, Skövde had no game companies at all, and there was nothing in Skövde. But then when the students came and started, they started to launch companies, and we soon got a game incubation, which was very successful, and we got a lot of successful game companies, and I'm sure you've heard of some of them. And it has always been going back to the lagom. Skövde is lagom big to have everybody close to each other. So we've been joining these different parts of the ecosystem that we call it into something we call Sweden Game Arena. And it's the municipality, the universities, the incubator, the science park, and the game companies working together with games. So Skövde has become per capita the biggest game cluster in Sweden. Of course, the capital, Stockholm, has most game companies, and also Malmö, the third city, has a lot of game companies. But Skövde is really, I don't know, 30th biggest city in Sweden or something like that. And we're like the third or fourth biggest game environment. So when you come to Skövde, you will notice and you will meet a lot of people that are into games. And that is one of my main argument to come to Skövde. Maybe our educations are not best in the world. Maybe we are not have the fanciest nature. We don't have a sea. We don't a lot of things we don't have. But there are a few places where you will meet so many people that are really into games and from all different disciplines, and that is a unique environment, I would say, to come to. And the game development master's program are two years programs that are closely linked, and they differ with 30 credits, you can say, where one has a specialization in player experience and one has a specialization in serious games. But most things are shared. So 3/4 of the program are shared between these two. And both have a main focus on game development. So what is game development? Um, I like to highlight the quite unique mix of things that games are. Games are the digital games are quite advanced IT products where requiring a lot of tech specialization and programming skill, etc. But it's also a cultural product. It's requiring creativity and artistic values and art, sound, and so on. And it's opposed to other cultural expressions, it's interactive, so the player plays a central role. And this creates a very complex situation when we should learn how to make games, because we can see it in so many ways. And this image illustrates that different disciplines, different specializations will have a bit more narrow focus on some part of this. The tech person looks here, the art person looks here. Um, and tech people and art people have differences. And we have seen in the past in many game companies, in academic context, that there are conflicts between the tech perspective and the art perspective. What one unique thing with game companies and game development is that all these people, all these different peoples, they sit in the same boat. If you are to make a game, you need to find a way to do this together. So we need mediation. We need people who can understand many perspectives, and this is where we are very much in our ambition to highlight this importance of joining people with different backgrounds to understand this activity that is game development. So when you study here, first of all, we admit students from different backgrounds. It's not only like traditional IT programming kind of students. We have a broad definition of informatics, where we say that if you work with digital production tools in your bachelor, if you study uh, media production in some way, you can be admitted to our program. So we get a mix of students, both nation-wise, but also disciplinary-wise. And together we explore the theoretical and practical field of game development and the complex process that game development is. So to do this, we believe that game design is a core competence everybody needs. So that's for everybody. Then we also highlight the central role of playtesting and interdisciplinary collaboration. And then we also talk a lot about the difference between doing game development in the wild as opposed to making it for research or teaching or etc. So we want students to have a close eye on the games industry and as far as possible find collaboration with game companies and so we encourage that a lot. And then there are some things I usually get questions like this. So I add a slide what you will not study. I know there are game educations elsewhere that are very different from ours. So one thing that we don't focus on is the craft of making some of the polishing of a tooth in that monster. So we don't have programming courses or game engine courses or very focused courses on how to do specific things when it comes to game production. However, it's possible in the third semester, I will come to that, to pick courses, for example, if you do international exchange, to complement some of this. But the mandatory courses don't have that nature. So we assume that people come to this program with a bachelor's degree in something that is relevant for games. Could be animation, music, writing, game writing, programming. It could be different things. So not everybody needs to know programming. That's a question I get a lot. Do I need to know how to program? No, you don't need to know how to program. The thing is that together we lean very much on the fact that we get a mix of people. So somebody will know how to program, some will know how to do art and modeling, etc. And that has worked for the 5 years now. So I hope it will continue to work fine. So a quick overview of the courses that are included. And here you have a split on the left part for the player experience and the right part serious games. And as you can see, you have a shared course the first semester in game design. And then it differs between the two programs. So both have an applied course, player experience in practice is one applied course, and project serious games is one applied course. And then both has a research and development course. And now I realize this is wrong. Sorry. This row shouldn't be here. It's a new slide. You see it? Here you see those two. It's in the second semester. Then you have in your specialization uh, advanced topics, either in player experience or in educational games, the serious game side. So that's the specialization. That's the difference. Now the difference is no more. And the rest of the semester, you take a course in experimental game evaluation, which is it's a little bit like a research method course. And then you have two courses focusing on game development in the wild. One that look at the research done on game companies, and one that looks at the company activities, either through active participation in a game company or by studying communication that game developers have had, for example, in Game Developers Conference. So that's the first year. The second year, the third semester is this is one of our nicest features in the programs, that the third semester is super flexible. We encourage people to go on international exchange because that is really opens up a lot of opportunities, and it gives you an experience that is really valuable, in particular for those students who come from Sweden, who are like haven't moved. International students, I can understand if you don't want to move twice, but we've had a lot of international students who, for example, feel like this is a great opportunity for me to take exchange in the United States, because it's the study fee will not be higher if I go to US compared to stay in Skövde. And otherwise, it can be much more expensive to go to US to study. So you can go as international students, but many stay. And then you have a number of electable courses you can pick from. We have game projects, which has some elements of business planning, and we collaborate with the incubator. So the end of the game project is to pitch your game to our incubator. And then we have courses from a 1-year master's program in digital narration. So those courses, research creation, media production, advanced research perspectives on world building, and narrative and new media as an area of research, they are more towards humanities perspective on games and media production. So they are electable. Then you can pick the courses from the other specialization. So if you go player experience, this player experience program, you can pick serious games courses. If you go the serious game program, you can pick player experience courses. And then the fourth semester, you have a degree project, master dissertation in focused on game development. So that's an overview. A few words about the specializations. Player experience. Player experience is very much about understanding how you can evaluate the experience the designer are aiming for when you design a game. So the specialization focuses on methods and techniques to study the player experience. And as the player base grows, it becomes more and more important to understand how to do this. The traditional way to make a game is to make a game that you want to play yourself and hope for the best. But if you want to make games to include more people than yourself, then player experience evaluations are very important. And this is an area which has been tightly or very much inspired by prior research on interaction design and human-computer interaction and research methodology. This is player experience. And the courses, you have an R&D course, which is theoretical, reading papers on research on player experience, and you have a assignment to write about it. Then you have the player experience in practice, which is mostly practical, that where we have group work, where you work towards an external developer, game ideally a game developer. It's sometimes hard to find enough game developer companies, but we aim to have game development companies that want something evaluated, and then the group designs test for that. And then the advanced topics course is a theoretical course where you study deeper onto a topic of your choice and write a paper about it. The serious game specialization is focusing on serious games. And what's serious games? We define it as games that engage the user and contribute to achievement of a defined purpose other than pure entertainment. So we say that a serious game is a game where you have an additional aim with the game to learn, train, teach in some way. The Chinese word is functional games, which is commonly used there, and it's a many ways a better terms because serious games in some way implies that other games are not serious, which we definitely believe they are. So the structure of the courses there are very similar. The R&D course, you read papers and you write a report on it. In the project serious games, here you develop a game. So it's a team project where you should make a game prototype together with an external client who's the one who has the serious part. And in the past, we have had a lot of different clients from the police, ambulance, firefighter organizations, dentists, schools, science centers, a lot of different clients that want a game. So this is more hands-on development. And in the educational games advanced topic, it's focused on educational games, which are the most common type of serious games, and dig deeper into pedagogical factors and school factors. But so it's theoretical, but has some applied work as well. So these are the tightly integrated programs. And as I said in the beginning, Per is the program coordinator together with me. I officially is the program coordinator for the player experience and Per for the serious games. But we have a lot of collaboration and work together. So we strongly want to present this as one program with two specializations, which we've had before, but we can't. The reason we split it is that we couldn't. You couldn't make the choice when applying otherwise. So the only way we can get equal big groups is to have it like this. But it's one united program in most ways. So this is another way to see it. If we say that the green parts are the game development part in the program, and the purple is player experience. In year one, you have 50% game development, 50% player experience, and then in the year two, you have this either international exchange or a possibility to have almost 30% serious games. Then if we look at the difference here, it's mainly the first half, the first half of the first year, half of the first year. So the difference is small between these two. And if you pick in the third semester the other courses, the only difference is that you can't have two special advanced topics courses. So we recommend to apply to both to increase the chances to get admitted, and then pick if you really want serious games and you get admitted to player experience, you can take most of the serious games in the third semester. Okay, I think that was all questions.